G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckaway Marks Point, with this Friday's fishing report out here. Drop over, or the western drop over, just behind me. Everyone's been talking about the salmon. Where have the salmon been? Definitely not in Salts Bay, but quite a few fish here at the moment. There's a few boats over here. There's a fly fisherman I can see, and a couple of other guys starting to throw a few lures here. So these salmon are just over the edge of the drop over. I've watched a couple of these guys over the last, say, 15, 20 minutes, hook a few up, and the fish came just back out of the lake a little bit up onto the flat air. So look, if you want a bit of entertainment this weekend, you want a bit of fun, they're not overly big, these fish. They're probably fish around about that sort of 1.5 to 2.5 kilos. But it's a good little school, and it is worthwhile having a bit of a dig. Out wide, we've been listening to on the radio this morning. Look, a few boats out off Swansea, and all week there's been yellowfin around while you could get out there. Last weekend, last Saturday in particular, the crew on the Fifi and quite a few other boats, they fished out wide there. I know certainly Joel and Lewis Island were out there as well. You know, catches 5 to 9 fish. Most of these yellowfin, again, that 20 to 30 kilo mark, maybe the odd bigger fish amongst them. Today it sounded like there was quite a few getting caught up at the bay, but surprisingly enough this week, quite a few striped marlin around, and those striped marlin appear to be sort of like just inside the edge, again up on that hardtop around about 80 to 90 fathoms, although there are a few fish in that little bit closer. I just don't think there's any real merit to going too far out, but it just changes daily. So where they caught them yesterday doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get them today, guys. So I think you just got to have that bit of flexibility in where you physically head, and certainly looking at those sea surface charts. But it's been a fantastic winter and an incredible run of certainly one yellowfin and of course winter striped marlin. The weather over the weekend, well look, you know, it's not going to be too bad. I think tomorrow they'll have westerly winds up to about 15 knots and they'll back off in the morning, but we've definitely got that little bit of a southerly coming through on Sunday and some coastal showers into next week. So it's not going to be so bad, but look, again, you've just got to bear with a little bit. Tomorrow, of course, you've got low tide around about 11 o'clock and you've got a high tide around about 4:45. So they're really, really good tides this weekend, and you will get those couple of tide changes. So it's just a matter of being out there on that deeper water, a few snapper on the farm, and definitely a few guys heading down towards the Texas as we now get into the deep part of winter and chase a few more of these kings. On the inshore, blue spot flathead, plenty of those around, and some very nice sized ones as well. But we're now starting to see those bigger snapper coming in on these inshore reefs. So it's a good opportunity with that, you know, that late tide tomorrow afternoon and even this afternoon to get out there and have a bit of a look. I know today's a little bit bumpy and a bit breezy out there. There's a little bit of sort of southwest here on the lake at the moment, and there's definitely what is happening offshore. So tomorrow, I reckon, is really going to be the pick to get out there and have a bit of a look. I know there's been some nice reds towards Redout, up towards Merriweather, and definitely some really nice fish getting caught up off Nelson's Bay as well. So we're seeing a real variety of fish coastally. Rock fishing, of course, a lot of very good drummer around, and they're really good tides this weekend to get out there and chase a few drummer. No doubt there's a lot of ludric around, but there's a few trevally and a few snapper getting mixed in for those guys on the rocks. The beaches guys have been a little bit patchy, I must say. There's a speckling of tailor still there, and obviously quite a few small salmon, but you just got to work a little bit harder along the beaches. I think the rocks is probably a little bit more beneficial than going to the beach. In the estuary, particularly here in Lake Macquarie and definitely Port Stephens and Newcastle Harbour, all the same, a lot of ludric in the system, and there's been bag limit catches of ludric getting caught in all of our estuary systems. Certainly know Paul Shepherd had another great week this week and got some beautiful fish down through the channel here, so it's great to see. I had a good conversation with a good mate there, Donnie Cummings, yesterday. A beautiful snapper a couple of days ago, almost 60 centimetres. So we're seeing these quality fish in the lake now, and we've talked about it. A lot of these fish that get on these inshore reefs, particularly the snapper, start to move into the lake. So there's some very, very good snapper getting caught in Lake Macquarie, and they're fish generally about that 60 centimetre size, probably in excess of 2.5 kilo. So great to see such quality fish. Again, plenty of salmon just over here if you want to have some fun. And the flathead have been down that western side of the lake. There's a lot of bait there between, say, Wangi and over towards Pulba, west of Sunken Rock. So that's where I reckon you should be. Had a visitor this week actually coming to the store. He's up from Victoria, never been on Lake Macquarie. We had a bit of a talk, gave me a bit of advice. He got a 76 centimetre kingfish down near Pulborough Island. So it just goes to show you the diversity of the fish in the lake at the present moment. There's still a lot of bream around, and there are a few trevally that are in the lake as well. Guys, look, I think this weekend's a cracker to get out. Well, tomorrow, in fact, is probably the better. I just think we're going to have that little bit of a southerly on Sunday with that late little bit of shower. So look, take advantage of it. You can get out wide. Remember, a bit blowy tomorrow morning early, then it should settle in. But good luck all round. Now, this Friday special, of course, guys, we have got boxes of these atomic mullets, and they're fantastic. All these basically flathead size. You've certainly got bigger flathead, jewfish, and of course this big guy here, the big bully, fantastic for basically anywhere, rocks, beach, and of course in at Newcastle Harbour. All these atomic mullet at the moment, we've got a big pile of them. As soon as you walk in the door, all 30% off. Come down and grab yourself a bargain. Get out there and hopefully if you get a yellowfin or a salmon, it doesn't matter, so long as you're on the water. See you next Friday.